How are you guys? Hope all as well. This isn't a video about next week. This is just a video about some trades from this week. So I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. So let's go to the US dollar. Okay, so on the US dollar, first of all, I thought we were going to break this level and we didn't. And you can see there was a really nice accumulation that played out. And you can see, well, first of all, we had this low manipulated and this one, and then this one with this here, then here. Okay, cool. So even though we didn't get a full kind of break of structure, we did have some sort of shift in momentum here. And then we came down, we liquidated, and then we had more generate liquidity in here. You can see we tested demand, which was our spring. This is our test. And then we had that continuations. And I would have liked to have seen price potentially come back down into this level, but we didn't. And we really just kind of continued from there. So we had this kind of move play out, we liquidate the high, and then we come back down. After that, I didn't really look at it too much because I was looking on Euro GBP. But just for the time being now, we actually already came in and swept this high, and we actually did get a closure above. So now really and truly the levels that we're playing with are within here. And quickly just going on to next week, it's probably going to be a case of looking for our premium and discount, which you can see price is actually coming into discount at the moment. So whether that is going to be a pullback into premium, discount even, pullback into discount, and then potential long situations. So we do have areas a bit lower down, which we really could kind of come in and clear. If we did sweep this low going in here, then this is going to be my second target, which I will be looking for continuations. So we can highlight this level out, because if we go to the daily, okay, so the daily, we haven't even broken this high yet. We actually did cause a wick. Let's go down. Okay, so there is actually a lot of bearish movement and momentum. So this is going to be my area, which I'm going to be looking for, whether we're going to come down, pull back, mitigate, then continue lower. But first of all, this is going to be my first POI for continuations. And if we do break that, I'm going to be looking to see what we do within this low. And then if we do break this low, I'm going to be looking for pullbacks and then continuations back down, because the daily, technically, we haven't broken above. We've wicked it. We took out this old high, which took out the weekly. So now potentially, if we are actually going to come into some deeper retracement to actually then go long. But for the dollar, this is what I'm looking at. Reactions from either one of these levels, if we do break, which we probably could because we didn't get a daily closure, we could in fact see that lower downside movement. But really simple. Going in last week, accumulations in here, accumulations, and then we pushed higher. So AU, let's kind of go into this. So AU, if you guys have been following any of the other videos, we were all kind of expecting this weekly low to kind of come in and get filled. We did actually just come down and sweep that bottom low. And you can see we manipulated all of this. We came in, and then we potentially started to have quite a strong reaction. You can see we are actually kind of shifting from either side. So I could see maybe potentially a lot of this liquidity in here actually getting taken. But for the time being, let's actually kind of take a look at what happened. So I was expecting maybe a little bit of a higher push into this hourly level. Let me just delete some of this off. So we have a really nice hourly move in here, which I actually thought price was going to come into. I thought we were actually going to manipulate some of these highs in here. You can see we didn't, we just failed. And then we continued back down and absolutely just died. Asian session, we really just died. So for me, there was actually no real opportunities in here. For me personally, I wouldn't have liked to have placed a sell in here knowing that we could have had that run and continuation. So when sometimes things like this happen, yeah, it's annoying, but is what it is. We just got to move on. But there was a really, really nice opportunity going in on the 1 minute. So before any of this had happened, I really still did have the idea that price was actually going to start come back down. We did have some high levels, but I really didn't think anything was going to happen, if I'm going to be honest with you. We had such a big correction that there just had to be some sort of impulse kind of going in from somewhere. So there was a really, really nice opportunity on the 1 minute. And this just kind of goes to show, once you've got your high time frame bias and perspectives, using lower time frames can really be quite an amazing opportunity. So we had, we can delete this off. So we had a 1 minute move in here. So I was looking for bearish moves anyway, and you can see we've got our low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So now really it's just kind of looking for the supply that caused the break of that structure. And if we start going on a high time frame, you can see that we did actually shift momentum here. And this was our kind of major pullback. And I didn't fib this, but we can fib this for the time being. Let's just see what we get. Actually, no, it's not that high. It's in here. So you can see that that 786 is really, really lining in with our 1 minute move, which I was talking about. Let's restart this. Let's go back. Cool. So you can see fib from our low, from our previous low to our high. I don't know why mine does it, but whenever I do it, I pull it from the low, pull it up to the high. You can see 786 down to a negative 27. I didn't hold that for that short. My target was actually in fact this low. I never actually took that out here. I did only have mine to this imbalance here, because you can see this is where we manipulated and then we ran. So there was a nice 50 pip move, about just under 1 to 13 on this, so about 4 pip stop loss and then a 50 pip target. So that was really nice, but my overall target was here. I didn't hold it to that. So yeah, this was actually really, really nice to see. So that is AU. Going into next week, I'm not 100%. I do know Monday is the 4th of July in America, so I know the market will be closed on Monday. But whether we are now going to see pullbacks and continuations, or whether we're actually going to start kind of shift the momentum to the upside. So that is going to be quite interesting to see. But 1 minute, 1 minute moves and 1 minute trade, which actually played out really, really nice. So Euro pound. Euro pound was actually a really, really nice trading opportunity. I did put in the group that I was expecting kind of anywhere, either within here or our overall demand, which was here, because we're looking at structure. We have a low, high, 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 low, high, 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 low, and high, high. But before that actually played out, we had this high, we confirmed our break structure. Now it's really looking for a pullback and then the continuations. So this trade was actually not the most conventional, to say the least, but let's still break it down. So just beforehand, as we come into the London, it's on a 3 minute, as we were going to London, we were just kind of dying off. And that was kind of the main point. So I really did have this idea at the back of my mind that we were going to run this wick low, because you can see, what was this? This was 8 a.m. London open, London low wick causes liquidity. This was kind of a target that I was going for. And I wouldn't have been surprised if we were going to take this low out, because you can see here we had just a small inefficiency in here, which I was actually looking at. So I was expecting price to kind of move from a higher point, but we'd had this low, we'd had this 8 a.m. low, and we'd had this imbalance in here. And you can actually see as well that this down move manipulated, we manipulated and we broke structures. And if we actually pull this aside, you can see that we did actually came in and test that 1 hourly move. But my idea that I was really looking for was just this imbalance to get filled. So if we go on a 3 minute, let's just talk about the small trade outcome. So this is a really, really basic trade, similar to AU. We have a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Now it's looking for that area that caused the shift and break. And I've noticed on Euro Pound, the 3 minute is actually really, really nice. So we had a 3 minute trading opportunity here. We had a 8 pip stop loss and a 42 pip target. So this is a nice little 1 to 4. And then you can see we actually came down and we actually came in and tested this low. Now, this is where this trade plays. So once price had actually come down there, I was stalking this for ages and ages and ages. And I was just waiting for kind of something to happen. And it was on the 5 minute, we kind of had this big, strong burst movement down. And we had actually came in and tested right into the area that I wanted to. Volume started to kick up a bit. We came and swept these lows. And this is going to be really bad to say, but this was kind of a little bit of my initiative that I did use on this, because price had come down. We tested and filled that imbalance. And the one thing which kind of caught my eye was when I saw this happen, there was a lot of volume that came in and just kind of pushed price down. And when I saw this Marubozu candle, I was like, okay, cool. I was just sat on the 1 minute and price started to have a little bit of a shift, just breaking above this. And it was on this candle where I entered. So we'd just filled that little bit of imbalance here. And when price was around here, my spread started to get really wide. I could see kind of something was going to happen. And I've noticed just from my trading experience, when before like a big event happens, my spread kind of like wiggles and kind of goes really big and really small. And I could just see something was kind of really, really building. So high time frames, I'd been waiting for all of this move to happen and get manipulated, but I was always expecting this long move. And I had a feeling that if this move is going to come, it's really going to pump. So after price had actually really had that manipulation and we come back down and I saw this super clean Marubozu candle, we kind of had started a little bit of a shift when my spreads were kind of getting a little bit wider and things. I just had a gut feeling that price was going to move. And I know in trading, you shouldn't be going off a gut feeling, you should be going off what you're actually seeing. But I took a risk on this one. I used my initiative and just kind of what I thought was really happening. So other than my high time frame perspectives and my high time frame tests and fills of areas that I was expecting it, we did actually start coming in. And like I said, I could just see the momentum kind of starting to shift. And you can see on the 10 minute as well, this candle was looking quite high volume. On the 5 minute as well, this was looking very, very strong. So as soon as I saw my spreads and things starting to move, I literally just placed it and I had a super, super tight stop loss. I wasn't super, super tight, but I had a 7 pip stop loss. So I was only risking around 0.25 on this position. So it was only quite a very small size that I was actually risking. And you can see, to be honest, price just really just kind of mooned and continued. So as soon as price kind of started to break out a bit, I kind of very, very quickly put my stop loss to break even just in case price did reverse. And you can see price just really, really, really just continued from this point. We'd come into a strong level in here where supply and demand had kind of came into fruition before, and we create this level which price was starting to generate liquidity. Market closed. We swept all of these lows with this low wick here. And going into the evening Asian session, we came down, we created this low, which is kind of just nothing more of a small manipulation of these areas. So I was already in this trade down here. And then when market opened, going into London, we absolutely just mooned and continued. So my overall target was this 3 hourly. I was actually going off this 12-hour imbalance. So my target wasn't there. My target was here, and you can see we had a super, super nice strong reaction from that point. So going into next week, obviously it's going to be a little bit trickier of what price is going to do. We're kind of in a bit of no man's land at the moment. We're not kind of at the high, we're not the low, we're kind of in this medium range. So I'm going to be quite excited to happen what next week. But the one thing which I quite like to do is, you can see if we look on the line chart and we put it into a 4 hourly, one of the reasons why I did really want to hold this is going to 6 o'clock when we had created our new 4-hour candle, we'd created such a big kind of long wick, and when price had closed up here, put it on the line chart, and you can really then see the structure that's really playing out. So you've got your low, high, 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 low, and our high, high. So now really, if we're going to go to create a new high, low, to then go high, high, and dig a little bit into this order, we'll see. But for the time being, I'm going to just sit on my hands and wait. I'm going to wait for Monday to roll over, because I know that is the 4th of July for you guys. So I'm going to be really interested to see what happens. So far at the moment, we do have this 15-minute play. So mitigation off a mitigation. So I'm going to be quite interested to see if price is going to want to kind of trickle down, mitigate, reaccumulate, and then continue, and see if we can run some of this in here. We do also have a really, really nice 30-minute move in here, which actually swept this old market closure high. So that is really going to be interesting to see. So I'm going to be quite interested to see what happens going into next week. But like I said, I'm going to sit on my hands and just wait for the time being. So if you guys got any questions, please let me know. Feel free to fire away, and I will answer your questions as quickly as I can. All right, guys. Thank you.